Hate crimes for African Americans are underreported because, as we say, Black Lives Matter, they don't. To the folks that are committing the crimes and folks in power that can make a difference.
Just people being biased.
Growing up, there's been a lot of experience dealing with more racial slurs.
Or late 80s, when a young Ethiopian gentleman was coming home from work and he was beaten to death by a group of white skinheads.
One of the perpetrators of the crime happened to be on my football team in high school. I started to notice the cats he was hanging out with, and then eventually, sometime later, he was convicted for the murder in Southeast Portland.
So-called routine stop turned into an incident where I, don't get to see my children.
All the stuff that I've gone through is not okay. And all this time I've been thinking it's my fault, or I could have done something.
I know my son is traumatized. He doesn't want to say it. He's 18 now. He doesn't want to say it or admit it or don't even know what he's feeling. But he's just like, it's over with. I don't want to talk about it. I don't care. I'm done with it. Leave it alone.
And generally that young people will lose some part of their personhood, some part of their dignity and self-respect because they're engaging or having to engage someone else's hate.
And unfortunately, that level of trauma then comes out and manifests itself sometimes in very destructive ways.
There are microaggressions now. It happens so often, so it makes you think, did this happen? Am I sensitive? Am I crazy? It makes us question who we are because it's a part of America's DNA.
But in the end, we're still dealing with hate crime.
Nationally, hate crimes are on the rise, and there is data to support that.
From my perspective, I see a spike in hate crimes. Good news is that there's a lot more attention in trying to combat hate crimes.
And try to understand, like, it has to be something deeper besides what the action is, but it has to be something causing the action.
If any crime is perpetrated against you, if somebody does something to you and they do it and let you know they've done it because of what you look like, because of how you speak, because of where they think you're from, because of a perceived physical ability or disability, because of the language you speak, because of religious or symbolic wear that you have on, that's a hate crime. And I found that people don't report because they don't believe anything's going to be done about it.
And a lot of times we accept the fact that that's just the way it is.
I think people are scared that we don't have a voice, and so that's maybe why we don't speak up about the little things, and that's why things like what happened at Hollywood Max Station became so devastating.
If you witness a hate crime, I think it's still your responsibility to report it, to report what you've seen.
I still have conversations with people and they relate a story, and my question is, did you report it?
If it goes unreported, our society considers it as not happening.
If you don't report it, then there's no learning from the experience.
So what do you do if you need to report a hate crime?
First thing you can do is document to the best of your ability what you saw happen, where were you at, what facts you know, and get those things down.
One thing you can do is contact our support line, parent hotline at 971-352-6822.
You can report it and we can work with it. But if we don't name it, we can't change it.
And we should speak up on what we see in front of us, whether that's someone being watched at a grocery store just because the color of their skin, or that's someone being called out because they're wearing a hijab on the max.
I think that's probably the biggest hurdle, is some people believe there's just really not a problem. And therein lies, we can't move forward until we accept that, in fact, there is a problem.
So by reporting it either on a hotline or through the city of Portland is very important so that they know there are communities that are at risk for hate.
Remember, this is not a substitute for filing a police report. And if this is an emergency, dial 911.
Now I'm reaching out, and now I'm getting the help that I need. And I encourage everyone else who's going through similar situations, whether that has to do with being abused at school and dealing with hate, or being abused at home and it filtering into school life. I encourage it.